Welcome to this mess up version of the intro to this song. Bam, bam, bam,
It's a
bam.
podcast.
Okay, I'll take it from the beginning. Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to Make Me, the podcast where Julia and I force each other to do the things that we couldn't be bothered to do ourselves. My name is Jordan Steadman.
I'm Julia Weeks.
And we're back again.
We're back doing stuff we don't want to do for your entertainment.
Spoiler alert, I had fun with this one.
Spoiler alert, so did I.
What's up, Julia?
Well, living that quarantine life still, isolation, but big news in my life. Even though none of our listeners helped me out and no one sent me money, I got my own pair of rollerblades and I've been blading up and down the bike path.
Brink style? Are you challenging people to like skate offs?
Yeah, I'm finding skateboarders to punk all the time. All the kids in Lexington, Massachusetts.
What's the name of your skate gang, and then what's the name of your rival skate gang?
My rival skate gang is the Lexington Louses. And my skate gang is the Striped Snitches.
And do you guys get stitches?
No, we give other people stitches. That's where the fun comes in. It's not snitches get stitches, it's snitches give stitches.
It's not even like you punch them so they get stitches. Is that you just like you rollerblade to people who have like had major falls, and you have to like you voluntarily give them like sutures.
Yeah, we have like a little first aid kit set up at every skate rink in the neighborhood.
Wow, what a service.
What's up with you?
I just moved, so this is the first pod in a new space.
I can sense the difference.
Thank you so much. I love it. I'm very happy.
You have a very nice pink glow.
Thank you.
In your room.
My full spectrum lamp for my plants, because I don't get a lot of natural sunlight. But I've reinvented myself. I'm now a person who has a skateboard on my wall. So I'm a much better person because of it.
Do you happen to be in the Lexington Louses?
I am not in the Lexington Louses. I'm actually in the Pittsburgh Popeyes.
Oh.
Which is every week we go out on our skateboards dressed as Popeye and wreak havoc on the ne'er-do-wells.
You just roll up and down the street going, yak, 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 yak.
And eating spinach.
Yeah. I love that for you. I love your new personality you found.
Thank you so much. So what is this podcast about? What are we doing?
In general?
Just in general, I guess.
It's a podcast where we do stuff. We force each other to do things that we don't want to do or that we have already done and just find interesting. But that's like too long of a title. So we leave that part out usually.
So let's just get into it, I guess.
Yeah, let's do it.
Is there anything else that we need to cover?
I don't think so.
All right, let's go. Julia, what's your Make Me this week?
Okay. This week, you made me watch the Netflix original?
No, it was on the CW or something.
CW original Riverdale.
Hell yeah.
Which you've watched before, right?
I watched the first season.
Oh, thank God, because I only watched the first season.
Wow, I'm impressed that you even made it a whole season.
Okay.
You didn't even make it a whole season of Beetleborgs, and that is fine cinema.
Let's beg to differ on that one. At least Riverdale has like actual dialogue and plot.
All right.
And
Flarp, what's his name?
Flabber.
Flabber would I could argue against that.
If I watch the whole, just so everyone knows, this episode's gonna have some spoilers for the first season of Riverdale,
and you can deal with it.
You can deal with it because it's not winning any Emmys anytime soon. It's not like you're missing. It's not like you're missing any like major cultural moments by getting these spoilies.
Yeah.
But I will say, if there's a murder in the first episode and you're trying to figure out who's the murderer the whole season, and if the murder happened to be Flabber, I think I would have had to blast myself into outer space.
What if there what if there's a Beetleborgs like Riverdale crossover episode?
They
like
happen in the same universe.
Yeah.
So you said you watched one season. What do you think of it?
It's a very sexy teen television show. Please don't take this clip out of context because all of these people are like above the age of 21 and being recorded. Like they're all like 25 and they're all like hot as hell and they're supposed to be in high school and it's like this dark
sophomores in high school.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's just heightened drama. It's like a teen soap opera. It's very like Pretty Little Liars. If anything, it's the exact same plot with one murder and everyone's trying to figure out who done it.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. It's like the same exact type of show as Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah. And every character is like a caricature of like whatever their like characteristic is, which is something that I really appreciate with those like teen dramas, is that like everyone is just so themselves, like to a fault.
Yes. Like if you had to write out just like high level description of each character, that's exactly who they are and they never sway from that.
Right, exactly. Unless part of their character is to like have character development,
right?
Which, like...
But most of them don't have character development.
Right, exactly.
So do you like the show?
Yeah,
like, how come you haven't watched more than one season?
I've like watched a second season over like my old roommate's like shoulder, you know, like when you like pass through the living room and you're kind of like, what's happening now? And like they introduced some like weird like aspect of the show. Like they introduced like this like party drug that everyone was using and it was called Jingle Jangle. And I was like, that took me out of it.
Wait,
you know what I mean?
In Riverdale?
Like, yeah, in Riverdale.
Whoa.
It's like the plot of like the second season, I'm pretty sure is like if the plot of the first season is like finding out who murdered this person.
Yeah.
The second season plot is like this drug and who's like the drug dealer and like who's behind.
And it's called Jingle Jangle.
It's called Jingle Jangle. And I was like, oh, I'm immediately like taken out of it because like you have these like hot people like talking about like how mean like and evil their parents are, and then like also like sexy kissing scenes, and then like talking about Jingle Jangle just was like. This doesn't align with like what my expectations were.
No, exactly. I feel like that's so just to backtrack really fast. For those who don't know, Riverdale is basically a TV show about like a small town where mysterious things happen. There's one police officer, the sheriff, who's trying to solve these crimes, but really the people solving the crimes is these teenagers who the show is focused on. But very, very, very loosely, it's tied to the Archie comic books.
Yeah.
And that's really only where you get those like caricature stereotype characters.
Yeah.
And like the names of certain things in the show, like Riverdale, all their names and their relationships to one another.
Yeah. And one of the things that I really liked about Riverdale was like the aesthetic of like this like old 1950s kind of feel mixed with like modern technology. Like they're all dressed like they're in the 1950s or like in the comic book, but then are like using cell phones and computers and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. But they like go to the milkshake place like every night, the diner or whatever.
Yeah.
What you said about like Jingle Jangle only reinforces my main thought watching the show, which is like this show is trying so hard to cling to that tiny thread of being related to a comic book that they're keeping like certain names and like goofy things in there just so they can always say like, don't forget this used to be a comic book, but it's like not at all. For instance,
like we're referencing something.
Yeah. Yeah. For instance, and I don't like they didn't have to do this. There's plenty of shows where they reference things that are real, but they don't say it directly. So they'll be like, I'm on this new like posting app, like picture posting app called like Face Post.
Yeah.
are not even like that obvious. But I just wrote down a list of like some of them that they said. Google was called Sleuthster, which is just terrible.
It also just like if you think about it, it is just like a bunch of like Scooby-Doo ass kids like trying to solve a mystery.
Yes. So they're like typing, they're like, oh my God, we have to look this up. And they pull up the Sleuthster page. Then later they've referenced Glamazon for Amazon, American Excess instead of American Express, and Tower Records instead of Tower Records. Just like things like that the whole time that I was like, you didn't have to do this. You could just say we went to the record store.
Right, exactly.
And also there's just like everything sounds so silly, but they're taking it so seriously.
Yeah.
I never actually said like what I think about the show before we get into it. So I wanted to say that first.
Okay.
As soon as you said watch Riverdale, I like don't know anything about it other than it was related to the Archie comics. And I was like, that sounds dumb, so it's not for me. So I never watched it. So going into it, I had no idea what it was about. So in my mind, I was like, oh, it's going to be like a dumb sitcom. And then the very first thing that happens in the show is there's a teenager that's murdered.
Yes.
And there's a murder investigation. And originally that just made me think this is the biggest stretch concept for any show I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why it has to be Archie comics.
I have no idea. And I remember like when it came out, I was like, I don't even want to assume what I know this is going to be like.
Right.
Because like obviously like the whole marketing of it is like really dark and spooky. Yeah. And also like Archie comics are like so out of our realm of like knowledge. Like I don't even know what they're about.
I only saw them on like Bazooka Bubblegum. Sometimes like when they would like not have Bazooka Joe, they would have like one panel of Archie comic.
Yeah. So I don't know. But overall, I think it's a good show.
Yes.
And the characters I think are like hilarious. Like I know that it's not like the intention isn't to be funny, but also like sometimes you're like, someone wrote these with the intention of making fun of them, right?
Oh, yeah. It must have been. Some of the lines you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? So you're saying everyone's a stereotype. There's this one kid whose name is Jughead, famously from the Archie comic books, who all we know about him from the comic books is that he likes to eat hamburgers. Really, that's really all we know.
Yeah.
That's like thrown out the window in the show. He's like the dark, like mysterious kid from the wrong side of the railroad tracks.
Yeah, he like lives in a trailer park.
Yeah, and his dad's like a miscreant. And at one point he's talking to his girlfriend who's like very preppy, like put together girl next door, and he goes, I don't think you get it. I'm weird. I'm a weirdo.
I like that. That's one of my favorite parts of the whole show. I'm a weirdo. I'm different. Look at this hat. Do you see my hat?
Do you ever see me without this stupid hat on? I'm weird.
He like writes for the newspaper and is like also best friends with Archie, but also pretends that he's at war with Archie all the time.
Like something happened and they were at war and now they're friends again. Easily forgotten.
Right. Exactly.
Which I think is like how teenage relationships work. And I have this huge long list of notes I was writing just while I was watching the show, and a lot of it was me in the very beginning of the show being like, so every character hates each other and is friends with each other.
Yeah. Should we go through all the characters so we have like a base level of like what we're talking about?
At least some, yeah.
Okay.
So we have Archie, who's the main character. He's a football player but wants to be a musician. Classic.
Right. Fucks his teacher.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's like a whole nother storyline I'll get to later. Then he has his friend Betty who lives next door. She's like the girl next door. Her family's been in the neighborhood forever. They're just seen as like perfect family.
Yeah.
There's Veronica who moves from New York City. And she's like a classic. If a person in a small town had to describe someone from New York City, they would describe her.
Yeah.
There's Jughead, who his dad's like part of the local gang. he writes for the school newspaper. He's always wearing this beanie because his character in the comic books always has a weird crown on. And he's just like always talking about films and books, and he's one of those like artsy guys.
I bet he loves Tarantino.
Yeah, for sure. And there's other like adult characters that are, there's Cheryl, and she's the sister of the kid who died, and that's who they're like trying to figure out who.
Yeah, they're twin brother, or they're twins.
Twin sister. But so there's like this overarching plot of these kids are trying to figure out who killed this other kid. There's lots of kinks in the trail. But then also there's like all of these mini plots in each episode of like, I told my best friend that I loved him and he said he didn't love me and now he's dating this other girl, so I hate her. Or like Archie starts dating the music teacher and thinks he's in love with her, and no one talks about how it's sexual assault. And everyone's just kind of like cool with it, besides the fact that she could get arrested.
How about the one kid who got queer baited by the guy who's in the gang with Jughead's dad?
Yes.
So that he could get intel from him.
Yes. I have a huge problem. This is Kevin. He's the gay, classic gay character. I have a huge problem with this character. One, because he is the funniest and most likable character, and he gets like 1% of the airtime of the entire show.
Yeah.
And they have all these really weird comments about his sexuality throughout the show.
Yeah.
Like Veronica meets him, or he just like comes out of nowhere and is like, hey, I'm this kid and this is the school. Welcome to our school. And she goes, oh my God, you're gay. Let's be best friends. I was like, what the fuck?
Do you know when the first season aired?
It wasn't that long ago. It was like 4 years ago, 2017.
Okay, wow. That's a lot earlier than I expected.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah. More recently.
2017. But then also there was like, she was one of the girls, Veronica from New York City, was like, this is what I do to get back at my mom. I take my hottest friend, my best gay, and my arm candy out clubbing.
And they're like supposed to be 15.
Yeah, they're supposed to be 15. They live in a small town. There's no clubs. Also, it seems like all these characters, the only thing they know about Kevin is that he's gay.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Who's your favorite character? Okay,
this is tough. But my favorite character is Jughead.
Really?
Yes.
It's because you just think he's hot.
You saw my Instagram post.
I did, yeah.
But I was explaining to Gary today, I was like, okay, the whole show, it's Cole Sprouse that plays Jughead. The entire show, from the very first scene you see him, I was thinking, is he a bad actor? Like,
yeah, they all are. KJ Apa should not be in front of a camera.
Okay, but Betty is a good actress.
That's true. Betty is a good actress, and she's been in other things.
Yeah. But Cole Sprouse, he's not a good actor the whole show, but his character is very sympathetic. And he wears that fucking beanie in every scene. And I was like, I don't understand why people all over the internet saying he's hot. And then there was one semi-sex scene, and I was like, okay, I get it.
I just feel like the characters of Archie and Jughead are just like quintessential like white straight mediocre men getting all the attention, and like people feeling the need to like make them feel better when like they're succumbing to their own mediocrity.
Oh, for sure. I think Archie is the worst. I'll show you my notes later, but at multiple points I was like, Archie sucks and I hate him. Archie's head is so huge. Archie is not a natural redhead, obviously. Why do people like Archie so much? He shouldn't be the main character. He's terrible. Everyone keeps falling in love with him. Why? He's not cool. He makes terrible decisions, and he's self-centered.
Yeah. My favorite character is Cheryl. I think I think she's so badass, and I love that sometimes like there'll be like some episodes where like everyone's just friends with her, even though like this is like overarching thing where like they all hate each other and she's like really, really mean to them. But then there'll be episodes she's like, guys, I need your help. And like, then they're all like, okay, we're in.
Yeah, what? She's like the heiress of like the town's richest people, and she's a mega bitch because she's like given everything she wants in her whole life. But then sometimes they're like best friends with her.
Yeah.
Like they'll do anything for her. And then other times they're like, she's just a mean girl, and that's what she does. She wreaks havoc.
How come every girl in the show's on the cheerleading team?
That's what I want to know. They like didn't. Okay, they're sophomores in high school. The two main girls didn't want to be on the cheerleading team, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Let's try out." And then
they make out for their tryouts.
Yes, what?
And they're like, why did you do that?
And Cheryl was like, "Nice try," and then lets them on the team anyway. Another thing about all the girls being on the cheerleading team, Veronica is just everywhere. She sings, she's a cheerleader, she's friends with everyone randomly and like brings them baked goods. She like randomly dates all these people that like you never saw her talk to beforehand.
Yeah.
She's just like everywhere, and I don't even really understand why we care about her as a character.
Yeah. I don't either. I don't understand. And like her thing is so ambiguous. I think like, you know how like, so Archie's thing is that he is so stifled in life by everybody. Like no one can ever do anything good for Archie. So like that's his whole thing. Jughead is,
but he's not stifled by anyone. That's
no.
Yeah.
He everyone's paying attention to him and everyone's just trying to make him happy. But like he hates his dad and his mom's dead.
His mom, they got divorced.
So, his mom's Molly Ringwald. I forgot.
Yeah, his mom's Molly Ringwald. She's great.
And then you have Jughead, who's like, I'm just so different. Like, you wouldn't get it. I'm just so dark and different, and I'm always gonna be like an outlier. And Betty's like under the pressure of like being what everyone expects of her.
Like perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And Cheryl is like, I have to be the bitchiest person in the room at all times, and that's kind of why I love her. And then you've got Veronica, who is, my parents are more interesting than me. Like my evil dad is way more interesting than I'll ever be.
And my personality is my dad's wealth.
Yeah, exactly. And like trying to fix Archie at every given moment with sex.
Yes. Okay, was your high school this horny?
My high school experience was kind of horny.
What? Okay, my high school experience wasn't very horny at all. I would say it was like penis inverting, actually.
Yeah.
But our high school was just not that horny. I feel like there was drama about like, I like this boy and I like him, but there was never like people making out without someone else's crush, and then they did this and they're having sex all over the place and they're making out with everyone in town.
I went to an all-boys high school, so mine wasn't. It was pretty horny for being an all-boys high school.
Yeah,
but like I was friends with people like in neighboring like schools, and like it was like that. And I just feel like every event that I went to that was like even remotely more teenagers than adults, it was just like the horniest event ever, and like everyone was like leaking like pheromones like everywhere.
Yeah, I guess I did have experiences like that in high school, and like I just feel like there was sexual tension everywhere in high school.
Yeah,
but no one was nearly as attractive as the characters in Riverdale because they weren't 25 like the characters are, and no one was like as smooth. So it wasn't like anyone was seducing anyone. It was just kind of like, hey, I like you. We should make out.
Yeah, I also feel like these teens were like much more sexually mature than I was. Yes. You know what I mean? Like I can see why like horniness, yes, was like a big yes in high school, but like knowing what to do with that horniness was like a big flop. Like that was a big donk.
Yeah. That's the biggest. That's what I was trying to say. Like everyone was donking all over the place because they were like so horny and didn't like it made them incapable of acting like a human being.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of like, do you want to have sex? I don't know. Like that's like what.
I don't even know.
I don't know what I like. I don't know if I like you. I don't even know.
First time I'm ever confronting this side of myself.
I don't know if I don't know if I like you, and I definitely don't like myself. So.
Yeah, that's the thing I hate most about Riverdale. They all seem to like themselves too much.
Except for fucking Jughead, who like is miserable with
I'm
himself.
weird. I'm a weirdo.
I'm poor. I live in a trailer park, and no one ever gets me, even though my girlfriend's hot and rich.
My girlfriend's hot and rich. She's trying to understand me, but I won't let her. You
and
know,
that's everyone else's fault.
I was thinking about why I like Jughead so much. And then I came to a sad realization that I've dated people exactly like Jughead. And that's why I feel sympathetic to his character, including wearing the beanie at all times of day in all seasons and activities.
Yeah, I'm sure he has a lanyard or what are those things called? The little clips.
A carabiner.
Carabiner.
Wait, how does that have to do with this personality?
I feel like that's just like a personality trait is like beanie and carabiner boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's him. He's like the guy at like the show who's like over it all the time, but is trying to
Yes.
bone really hard.
Yeah. I don't know. Something about that. I was telling Gary today, like wearing a beanie all the time was a category, was like a personality, is a category of boys that I was attracted to for a very long time. And it
Yeah.
was
Where's
about the
Beanie?
time. Yeah. Where's beanies? Period. That's all I need.
Had the troubled relationship with his father.
Yeah. That's it. That's my ideal guy.
Yeah.
Something else about the show that weirded me out, but I've also seen in other shows that are similar, is how much the parents are involved in what's happening in the high school. And I know it's like a function of it being a small town, but they'll have like homecoming and there'll be parents there.
Yeah. They're
What's
all
up with that?
chaperones?
They're not even chaperones. Like he was like, "Dad, are you coming to the homecoming dance?" He's like, "Oh, I was thinking of taking Veronica's mom." Like they're going as dates.
Yeah, it's weird.
What the fuck?
And they all like the other thing is that all the parents are like parallels of their children when they were in high school. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
their parents all played the exact same role for each other when they were young, and they do like they reference it a lot of the time.
Yes.
So like I think what I think is kind of happening is like you're trying to see this group of people at two different stages of their life, you
Right.
know? Because
Yeah.
like Archie is his dad, basically. You know what I mean? And like they talk about things happening back when they were kids in high school that were basically parallel to like now.
Yeah.
So it's like you're just surrounded by insufferability.
Yes. And this is the reason this show exemplifies why the exact reason why I feel bad for people that never leave their hometown.
Yeah.
Because like everyone's drama builds on their parents' drama, which builds on their grandparents' drama, and everyone knows each other and like they have all these preconceived notions of each other, and no one can escape like the space that they were given in this town's history.
I was thinking about that exact thing the other day when I was trying to remember something that had happened a long time ago, and I was like, I don't really remember that, and I think that's really weird that I don't remember that. But the other thing is like I left that entire world behind,
Right.
so like I have no reason to remember that, and I have no
Right.
reason to like talk about it with somebody.
Yeah.
So in the episode where I talked to Paige from like a long time ago, we were like collectively remembering things that we didn't know were memories that we had. So I have no one to talk to, and for
Right.
that, I feel like blessed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I don't have to live in that world anymore. And all the shit that happened to me and included me and I did to other people can just like exist in that memory. And I
Yeah.
can like now exist here and not be crippled by like running into somebody that like I had wronged or had wronged me, or like worrying about like that being something that could come up.
Right. Also, like, imagine all the problems you had and all the beef you had with people in high school and how much it doesn't matter anymore. But imagine people like clinging on to that until you're 40 and then hating your kids because you stole their homecoming date back when you were in high school.
Yeah.
Like shit like that people, their whole families are just plagued with because of what? Because we don't have more entertaining information.
Because they just stay, you know?
Yeah.
And they don't know. I mean, the other thing is like there's a lot of privilege in being like just leave, because like some people just
Yeah.
can't leave, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
But I think that if you're going to start somewhere, start somewhere new. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
don't wait till it's too late and your whole life is like completely reliant on like being around these people.
Oh yeah. Plus I'm in the camp of if you can leave at all, whatever that means, even if it's like the next town over. But
Yeah.
say you like want to live and die in your hometown, I think that means you should still try to go live somewhere new at least for a year of your life. If that's a possibility for you, which I know it's
Yeah.
not. But you need like new perspectives because otherwise you're stuck like these fucking kids in Riverdale who have to deal with all their parents' bullshit that's like decades old.
How did every one of those, like, how did all of those parents have a child at the exact same time?
Right, exactly. It doesn't make
It's
any
like they all had like a pregnancy
sense.
pact or something.
Yeah. Also, this is the biggest question I had the entire show, which is these kids are trying to figure out who murdered Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And they go up to people. They're like asking people all these questions, like snooping around, and everyone just gives them information.
Yeah, it's like SVU. It's like a bunch of
Yeah,
people like stacking boxes, and they're like,
right. So they'll be like, "We heard that you were there on the night of the murder," and the person won't just be like, "I have nothing to say to you. You're a 16-year-old." They'll just spill their guts to these kids.
yeah,
And then the sheriff is like, "Oh, you guys did a good job. Thanks.
good job, you guys.
Thanks for doing my job for me since I'm the only police officer in town."
Is that Archie's dad? No,
No, it's Kevin's dad.
it's Kevin's dad. He's kind of isn't his dad kind of a dick?
No, he's just like
Oh,
classic sheriff type.
gotcha. It's been so
Um,
long since I've watched it.
there's other things. Oh, other things I thought were really funny about the show is like they're trying so hard to be dramatic that they have like these weird, I guess, tropes of like a mystery murder show that they are dropping throughout the show, and it's so heavy-handed. Like they'll do these like slow-mo close-up shots of things to be like, can you believe this is happening? Like when Veronica rips her dad's pearls off and they like shatter to the floor very slowly. Or they have this weird like Stranger Things music that plays when things are getting more intense.
Yeah.
And my favorite is there's at least 20 scenes where there's a tense conversation happening. The conversation ends by the other person, like one of the two people leaving, and right as they're slamming the door, the other person stands up and goes, "Wait," or "Hold on," or "Don't go," but they're like already out of the room.
Yeah. Don't go. Shit.
I said it after the door was closed.
Like they get into a fight, like leave me and never come back.
Yeah.
As they leave. No, wait, I changed my mind.
Oh, she's gone. I don't. Do you have any questions for me about it? Like I could talk about it all day because I just watched it and I wasn't expecting to like it so much, and then I got fully sucked in and I love it.
Yeah. I do have some questions. Shag, marry, kill. Cheryl, Betty, and Veronica.
Oh my god, this is a tough one. My one note about Cheryl is that Cheryl is, quote, such a spooky fuck.
She is a spooky fuck.
She's so spooky. She's always all wearing red and black or all white.
Yeah. She's
Okay.
like, yeah.
So I think I would have sex with her because she probably is a good time. She's a crazy person.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like so manic. Sometimes she's the nicest person in the world. Sometimes she's truly a murderous, like crazy monster.
That's kind of what I love about her.
Yes. I think I would marry Betty because she's ambitious. She knows what she's doing, but she also has a dark side, which is like, that's like wife material, you know?
Yeah. She's
And
like
then,
Nancy Drew.
yeah. And then Veronica, I really don't find anything redeeming about her. So she's out.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think really similar. I think I'd rather marry Cheryl though.
Yeah.
Because she's got money.
She's hella
and she seems like a very strong person because also you see like she deals with like emotional abuse from her parents all the time.
Yeah.
And then I would shag Veronica.
Yeah.
Just because I think that we'd be sexually compatible.
Yeah.
And then I feel bad, but I just feel like I can't participate with anybody who like is gonna fester over like Jughead like that. You know what I mean?
Oh God. That's tough for me. That's tough for me to handle.
Don't take it personally, please.
I don't think he's that bad.
No, he's fine. I actually think that Archie's even worse. So maybe I should switch it because maybe Veronica. Maybe I do. Actually, you know what? I switch it. I'm gonna shag Betty, and I can't deal with somebody who's gonna deal with Archie because
Yeah.
Archie's so like annoying. And like,
Agreed.
so what? He can play the guitar. Okay, so can everyone.
I literally wrote down, am I supposed to care about his music?
Is he the guy who like shows up at the campfire with like an acoustic guitar?
100% is that guy.
Ugh.
But the thing about between Archie and Jughead, at least Jughead has actual like trauma.
Yes.
Archie's only pain is that his parents got divorced, which he doesn't even talk about. Other than that, his dad wants him to play football, but he wants to play music.
And his dad, I don't even think his dad's even like that much of a dick about it.
No.
You know what I mean? It's not even like a whole Disney Channel like, no, dad, that's your dream. Like, we don't even have any of that.
He's like, oh, I actually thought you liked playing football. That's why I was supporting it.
Riverdale is very Moody's Point.
Oh
like,
my
just
God, Moody's Point.
Like, just like fabricated drama.
Yes, for sure. That's what I was trying to get at. It's like, all of the problems, other than the murder, which is like a big problem, clearly, and it's like plaguing this town. Other than that, all of the drama they have is so like I don't care about it at all.
So if you lived in Riverdale, what would like your character like thing be? Like what would your defining character thing be?
I was actually thinking about this earlier today. And I feel like I don't know. I don't feel like I have. That's the problem. It's like all one-sided personalities.
Well, I mean, I guess like what would you what personality trait would you fabricate for yourself to live in this world?
I think I would be like the girl that was always at the skate park with the dudes.
Oh, cool.
And like ripped jeans. And I was like not like an outcast, but like totally not involved with any of like the school events and stuff, and like smoking pot behind the school, wearing a backwards hat all the time.
I feel like that character has like the potential to be the girl, like the girl who calls like all blonde girls Barbie. It's
yes,
like, Barbie, and then like three episodes in, like they're in detention together, and she finds out that she has more in common with Barbie than she thought she did, and they've like sparked a lifelong friendship.
It would be like a classic Janice, Ian, and Caddy from Mean Girls.
Oh yes, exactly.
Yes. Okay, what about you?
So I don't know what my personality trait would be necessarily. I think I would be an unsuspecting like bad guy. So I would be the person that like no one suspects to be the bad guy, but then the same episode that you meet my character, you see that my character is like talking to like the bad guy. You know what I mean? But here's the thing, I play both sides. I'm trying to get things out of both sides. So like I'm true neutral.
Got it. Well, you're evil on both sides.
I'm evil neutral.
Chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
I don't know how that grid works.
Is there evil neutral? There's not evil neutral. It's lawful. There's true neutral.
It's like lawful evil.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I would just be a floater until I actually get allegiance with the good guys, probably.
Yeah, and then they would like take you in as their unexpected friend.
And then also that they would then use me for intel for like the other, you know what I mean? Like I would just like flip and then start giving like, because what's happening is the bad guys are paying me. The good guys aren't, like, and that's why I even started doing the bad guys, like to hang out with the good guys, is because like these people were paying me. And then like, I flipped. I'm still going to get paid, but I emotionally align with like the good guys.
Right. And you're like an unexpected villain in that way, because you're just like, you're like a kid that everyone knows, but they don't know very well. You've had class with them. You think you like kind of know what they're about, but you have never really talked to them.
Yeah. And then season 2 is when like my own character development comes out. So we're not even at season 2, so I don't even know what my personality is yet, because my whole personality is the fact that I'm just around everybody.
Right. I'm around. That's my personality.
There's actually people like that I know in real life.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
That
I
their
don't know much
personality
about
trait
you,
is that they're
he's
around.
always there.
They're not contributing anything, and you're like, can you say something that
Can you like tell me one thing about your backstory? Yeah, agreed. Or like when you're talking to someone and they are not giving you anything back in a conversation, so you're like, okay, gotta go.
Have you ever been on a date like that where you're just like trying so hard to get this person to talk? And you're like, I will try to bring up anything for you to just expand on your answer.
Yes. I've had it too, where you're like, okay, you're on a first date, so you're asking a lot of questions, and they're just answering the question, not saying like, what about you?
Yeah.
So then you have to like pause. You'll be like, what's your favorite color? And they're like, blue. And then you go, cool, mine's purple.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't ask though.
I one time went on a first date with someone and they were like, you ask a lot of questions, don't you? And I'm like, I'm trying to have a conversation
It's
with
a
you,
first
asshole.
date, bitch. Yeah.
Also,
What the hell?
I don't care if you have an insult to tell me on a first date. Don't say it out loud and just never text me back, please. Please, like, spare my feelings while I'm sitting right in front of you.
Yeah, what the hell?
Or at least send me like a long text message about how like we're just not compatible and you don't see us together. That's more reasonable than you like that's better than you tripping me up while like I feel like I might be in a groove.
Yes, agreed. I channeled you a bit when I was watching this show, and I wrote down, everyone in this show just needs to see a doctor, then there would be no show.
That's true. Exactly.
Go to therapy, there's no show.
It's like when you're at the beginning of a movie and you're like, if you just didn't do this one thing, this movie wouldn't exist. Yeah. And like, honestly, sometimes I feel like it would be better because I don't have to watch this shit unfold. But now that it's unfolding, I have to see how it ends.
Right.
Which is the only reason I made it through the first season of Riverdale. Because I got so into how stupid it was. I was like, well, I have to see what happens next.
Okay, that's what I thought at first. And then I was watching it and I was like, I'm actually invested in this story. I'm actually getting spooked watching it. Like, I had to keep watching. Yeah. Because I was getting nervous. I was like up late by myself, and I was like, well, I can't go to bed because I have to go down a dark hallway, and maybe the murderer they haven't caught is there about to kill me, because I was watching the show about him murdering. Yeah. And I was onto him. So I have to just watch till the end of the season.
Wait, so the murderer was Betty's dad, right?
The murderer was Cheryl's dad.
Cheryl's dad. Interesting.
In the first season, I do have a suspicion that the murder in the second season is Betty's dad, because he has evil Inspector Gadget teeth that you see under the hood that the murderer wears when he shoots at Archie's dad.
Oh, right.
But I haven't watched it yet. But that's my initial inclination, because I hate Hal. I don't understand why we're supposed to like Hal. He tried to get his daughter to have an abortion without telling the family secrets to the whole family, then banished her, then tampered with a murder investigation. He finally comes clean that he's like hiding incest in the family, and then they just accept him back into the family like we're supposed to like him all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Fuck Hal.
Fuck Hal.
He has evil Inspector Gadget teeth.
Maybe we'll do a part 2 where I make you talk to us about season 2 of Riverdale.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
Yes. We'll do a recap or put it on the Patreon when that exists.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so. I like the show. I wasn't expecting to like the show. The ending of the first season was not great, but I would say stick with it, because it's a fun thing to like make fun of, but also has compelling tension. It
is a really it has perfected like teen drama.
Oh yes, exactly.
Yeah,
which is fun.
Which is not to say that it is good quality content necessarily with great writing, but the storytelling is compelling and it keeps you like invested.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. What's our rating system?
Oh, that's a great question. Let's say the gang from the show is called the something snakes, the
Southside Serpents.
Southside Serpents, which they always say in full. So let's do out of 10 Southside Serpents.
I love it.
Out of 10 Southside Serpents, I would rate this. I'm gonna say a full 10 Southside Serpents.
Oh,
Because
damn.
this is one of those ones where I was like, I'm not expecting to like this. I'm expecting to just want to make fun of it the whole time. But then I had to actively push that part out of my brain so that I could try to enjoy it instead of like setting myself up for failure. And then I actually really enjoyed it, and I'm going to watch the rest of the whole show.
Wow. See, that's crazy. It's so funny that you couldn't, like, you got through an hour and a half, or it was like 3 hours of Beetleborgs, but this is like an investment. Like, to watch all of Riverdale might take like a half of a day total.
Yeah, the first season is 13 episodes, and they're each 45 minutes long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. How long did it take you?
I watched it over 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So 10 out of 10 Southside Serpents.
Nice. I love it. Should we take a break?
Let's take a break.
Boom.
Welcome back to Make
Hi.
Me. How was your break?
It was so good.
That's good. You know, during the break, I had a lot of time to think about it, and I want to say I'm not ashamed of my love for Jughead, and I've now dedicated my life to Jughead. He's the classic, like, emotional bad boy that I am attracted to, and I live and die for Jughead now, and you can't change my mind.
You're a Jughead stan, and no one can say you otherwise. This is the house of Jughead.
And I'm going to start writing his name in my journal. I'm going to start writing Julia Jones all in my journals.
Are you going to start dressing as Betty?
No, I'm going to start dressing as Jughead. I'm going to get one of those beanies.
I feel like you should go full, like, Hilda. Or, is that her name? Helga? Olga.
Oh, yes. Helga from Hey Arnold.
Helga
Pataki. Helga Pataki. Yeah, I can do that. I'm gonna make a gum statue out of him in my closet.
Yeah, I love that.
But I'm gonna pretend to hate him to his face and then secretly be in love with him.
I'm very pro that.
Wonderful. So let's talk about your Make Me.
Okay, I guess so. So this week I was called upon to do origami.
Yeah.
And I was very excited about this one because this is something that I have been wanting to challenge myself to try anyway.
Oh, cool.
But before I get into my experiences, what's your history or knowledge of origami?
Sure. I don't have a lot of history with it. I know how to make like a paper hat and a paper boat.
Mm-hmm.
I went to this like after school care when I was like really small. I think somewhat time in elementary school, and like the main teacher was Japanese, and so she would like try to teach us stuff, and my dumb fumbling hands couldn't handle it when I was a kid. And now my mom does a lot of origami. I don't really know. She's like very crafty. And one time I called her. I was like, "Hey, how's it going? I haven't talked to you in a while. What have you been up to?" And she just said, "I've been doing a lot of origami." Like out of the blue. Never heard her say that before.
I love that so much.
So I have a lot of origami that she's made, like lotus flowers and bookmarks and stuff, but I have very little experience doing it.
Well, I have a newfound love for it.
Ooh.
So when I like was looking at like the history of origami, for some reason I expected it to be like long and beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, but it actually has a pretty like boring, normal like history.
Oh.
So the origins of origami, for those who don't know, origami is like literally translates to folding paper. So ori mean folding and kami meaning paper, pronounced origami.
Yes.
And it's the art of folding paper. And basically, you fold paper into pretty shapes. And it was started in Japan in the Edo period, which is 1603 to 1867, which is like a 250-year period.
Right.
So that's kind of where the origins are. And then as like trading and stuff opened up all around the world, then it started like being found and spread to like Europe and the United States and all that kind of stuff.
Was it just like something that people started doing and like as art form, or why did it start?
Yeah, it was an art form. Samurais used it as like a good luck charm. They would like wrap paper with like dried meat, I think I read, and that was like a good luck charm for them.
Yeah.
And then when origami was like first, coming into like rise or whatever, it was like only for rich people because paper wasn't like super available. But then once like the means of like creating, like making paper became more efficient, I think like more people did it, obviously.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then there's like different kinds. So one, like there's like the traditional Japanese origami, which is just like making paper and folding it into just like stagnant like shapes, like an item like a swan or something, or a hat.
Yeah.
Then you've got action origami, which is origami that has like a movement to it. So have you seen like the kind of things that like people build, and like it'll be like a square box, but then you can like unfold it and like it folds like in a bunch of different ways?
Yes.
Action origami can also be seen in like origami where you pull something and like the wings flap. Or also there's the kind of origami that like you can throw it and the wings flap themselves, like with the way that it's like moving in the air.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And then there's modular origami, which is like, have you seen the things where it's like you create a bunch of little things that are all the same, but then you attach them all together to make like something bigger? So like people will make like little flowers and attach them all together, and like it makes like a ball of like flowers.
Cool.
And then there's wet folding, which I've never heard of this, but wet folding is an origami style that where you get the paper wet and like you fold it, but then you like smooth down all the edges. One example I saw, if you like look it up on Wikipedia, is like a bowl, and it looks really, really cool. And then it dries and it stays. It's kind of like paper mache, basically. So that was really cool. And then there's a type of origami called Pure Land origami that was invented in the 1970s by this guy named John Smith. I think he's British.
Sounds like a fake name.
Yeah. And also like it's a type of origami that like uses only simple like mountain and valley folds. And I think what I read was that it's specifically for people who have like mobility issues.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. And then there's kirigami, which is like, it's a mixture of like traditional origami with like the single piece of paper. And then it incorporates like cutting paper and either adding it to it or like cutting the paper that you're folding.
Right. Okay.
And that was developed later, like when like scissors became a thing.
Cool. I feel like origami is one of those things that, this is going to be a huge generalization, like sweeping with a broad brush, but that a lot of people have a very basic understanding of. Like I went to school with a lot of kids that could just like, they had like 5 things they could do, and they were just always making origami shape, like those shapes, like stars or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's one of those things that's like a hobby. So there's not a lot of people that are like hugely famous for it. I'm sure that also has to do with our Western culture, like not caring about origami as much as other art, but
right.
It seems like one of those things that people do as like a personal hobby and like get better at it on their own. And it's not really for a larger audience.
Yeah, exactly. And also like I feel like everyone has their like 1 to 2 things that they can make. Like I can make like a balloon.
Yeah.
And like some paper planes.
Right.
But it's funny because like I didn't really consider that origami until I'm like, oh wait, no, of course it's origami. And one thing I found out while making these is that like most of the origami shapes that I made start out the exact same way.
Right.
And that like there's so many different like types of folds that you'll see repeated in like a bunch of different like what like shapes that you're making. I mostly made animals, I'm realizing, but
that's fine.
Which I'm happy with that. I actually have this plan to like put them all together on like a string and hang them in my bedroom.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. But and so when I first started, it was like I got really overwhelmed because like I just started watching these like 11-minute videos and people were like going really fast, it seemed like to me, because I'm like just making sure that like everything's aligned and all that kind of stuff. But I realized that with practice, I got so much easier at the folds. And then like, so with certain folds, you can predict what's going to happen next. And I can't like describe it well. And the best way I can say is like, go and like watch one of the videos and try a couple and you'll realize that like they repeat a lot of the same things.
Right, because you know like what it's going to look like at the end, so you have to do these 3 folds in a row to get to that.
Yes, exactly.
Shape. Yeah.
And I was like generally pretty successful. The one thing that I wish I had done differently is I wish I had better paper. Right now I just have like black construction paper.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit too thick to get some of the details in it.
Right. Yeah.
So at first I made smaller squares, like trying to work with the squares that they were working with on like the video. But the paper was so thick that it was hard to get a lot of those folds.
Yeah.
Especially the kind that sometimes like the fold will go inside out.
Right.
Like you'll like have to press it in and then fold it back. So it's like inside out in a way.
Yeah. So is there a special type of paper then that people use, like origami paper?
I think there is origami paper, and I think it's like in between like printer paper and like gift wrap, if that makes sense.
Okay, so it has like some structure to it.
Yeah, and there's typically a lot of videos I watched, there was paper that had like color on one side and then white on the other. Yeah. Those videos are the ones that like helped me the most because you can tell like if it's flipped or something.
Right.
But my paper is like the same on both sides. So, and it's black. So sometimes it was kind of tricky, but a lot of pausing. But like I said, I made one just a few hours ago that I was like, oh, I can do this because it's very similar to the other one that I made.
Cool.
But my first attempt is this right here. It's not anything because I donked.
Oh.
but it is very pretty. It looks very pretty.
It looks like a flower.
It does look like a flower, but I folded one way wrong. And the one thing about this is like, if you mess up, I make such hard creases because I'm trying to like keep the structure so much that if you mess up and like you don't need that crease, it's like in the way. Right. So you might as well just start over, which is what.
Right, and it like ruins the integrity of the final shape.
Yes, exactly. And I'm trying to find the final version of this one.
Do 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 do.
Oh, it's right here. So this is what this one that one ended up being.
Oh, whoa! Is that a dinosaur?
Cute? Yeah, it's a dinosaur.
Oh my god, I love that.
So, like, you know how I was talking about, like, the paper's really thick? This one won't stay together, and it's, like, this is its resting form. It's, like, with its, like, legs really wide.
It does the splits. I kind of like it like that, though.
It's funny.
Stand up.
Yeah. I wish it would, like, stand. I wish it was, like, a little bit. But I love it. It's so cute.
It's really cute. Does it have a name?
El Tigre.
Wow. El Tigre the dino.
So then, and I made this with a small piece of paper. So this is a small one.
Yeah.
And then I made this. I made a shark.
Oh my god, cute.
Isn't it so cute?
So good.
Thank you. And then I started experimenting with bigger paper because like I said, it was easier. So I made another shark because I wanted to see like the difference.
That's like I learned that there's a type of shark that looks like a baby great white shark. So now you have, it's called a salmon shark. So now you have one of those and a great white shark.
Oh, you're right. Oh, so cute.
Mommy baby.
And then I started getting a big head because I had only messed up one and I figured like that was going to be my one mess up.
Yeah. And then
so I got real cocky.
Yeah.
So I tried making a hammerhead shark and then it got too hard and I didn't finish. And you can tell like I wrinkled the paper so there's no fixing it.
No turning back.
I only kept it so I could show you that I donked it. But
it looks kind of cool too. I mean, like it's cool that even a mess up looks interesting to look at. It doesn't just look like crumpled paper.
Yeah, exactly. Except for this one kind of looks like crumpled paper. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't see all of it.
But what you can see is like I got really good because like the beginnings of it are so similar. You know what I mean? You could tell like where it was going.
Right. They look like similar shapes.
So like I think a lot of fish or a lot of sharks kind of have the same base. And then I made something else, but I'm gonna hold off on showing you that. And then I tried to make another dinosaur, and I think I like halfway donked on it because it looks more like.
Oh my god!
It looks more like the Loch Ness monster than the dinosaur.
It looks a little long.
Yeah, I couldn't get the neck right. Like the neck is supposed to start over here, but I couldn't. It's sometimes hard to see what they're doing, and like they're going slow enough that like you can see it all, but like you're like I can't tell exactly how they're doing that, like with their finger or something.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Plus, I feel like there's probably some moves that if you've been doing origami a long time, you just know what they're doing. So they're not like if someone's been doing it a long time, they're not going to show you each exact fold.
Right, exactly. And a lot of the videos I was watching were in Korean, so I didn't even have the sound on. I was just like watching them do it. But that leads me to one of the biggest things about this Make Me was that the one thing that made this Make Me even better was that I got to like do it while listening to that playlist that you made. Ooh. And it slaps so hard. I love that playlist so much.
I'm so glad. This is the playlist I made for last episode.
Yeah. You guys need to go listen to it. It's so good. The best thing was that like it fluctuated between like I hate me and I did everything wrong to like I'm a beautiful woman and you don't deserve me anyway.
Right. I'm glad you noticed that. I was going for the full spectrum of hatred and love for oneself.
So what I decided to do, take an extra step further, was that I'm going to I think that I've memorized one origami thing.
Oh my god.
I made a couple of this one and I don't want to show you what it is because I want you to guess as I make it.
This is so exciting. Okay. I'm ready.
So I'm starting with a rectangle piece of paper. This is also ASMR.
Yes. So for those who aren't watching with me, it's a rectangle, a black rectangle.
So we have a rectangle piece of paper and we have to make it a square because most of these origami are made from a piece of square paper. So I'm going to do one, I call it taco fold. I don't know if you had taco folds. We had hamburger, hot dog, and taco fold growing up.
I understand.
So we didn't have taco. So
it's like it's the first fold of a cootie catcher to make it a square.
Yeah. So basically I'm just going to make it a square really quick. The cool thing about geometry is that somehow it's ingrained that you can do certain measurements to like get it to the perfect point. Yeah. So like if I needed to fold it at a certain point, I fold it a different way and mark it. Right. And then I fold to that point or I fold at that point and it's like it's like the perfect middle line.
Yeah. How do we even like figure that out? I was listening to someone talking about math on a podcast and they were like, the craziest thing about math is that it wasn't invented, it was discovered.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. So cootie catchers, fun fact, start the exact same way basically every origami starts. So you got your one diagonal fold already because you made your square, okay? Yeah. So then you're going to fold it the other diagonal way.
Right. Which is
that you have
the way cootie catcher works.
Exactly. So that you have the perfect like crisscross. Oops. See,
I'm that so getting that too bold. Is that crisscross so that you can use those lines later on?
That's yes, exactly. There's a lot of like preliminary like folding that you do so that it folds a different way.
Cool.
So then you have like this perfect like angled crisscross here.
It looks like a kite.
Yes, exactly. So then what you're going to do is you're going to flip. So you're going to fold it so that it folds, like you fold it in half like hamburger style, but so that the folds are on the opposite side of the paper.
Got it.
If that makes sense.
Makes sense. I can totally see how this makes more sense to watch when the paper has two different colors.
Yeah, exactly. And so these are things that like the one time I wasn't paying attention, you have to pay attention to so much when you're watching these like origami videos because they're like, sometimes there's like an opening on one end and not the other end and you fold it the wrong way and the opening's on the wrong end. So you can't like, that's what happened with the first dinosaurs. I put the opening on the wrong side and then it totally fucked me over. Okay. So then we have this like, star snowflake kind of thing.
Cool.
And I'm going to turn it into a triangle by like folding the pieces, like do a cootie, like starting a cootie.
Oh, yeah.
Have this, and then you flatten it.
Okay.
And perfect. I did it wrong.
Damn.
Okay. So I know I just said that it's used. It's if I make a fold I don't need. I ruined it, but I don't really feel like fixing it. So we're going the opposite way. That shouldn't be a problem anyway. It should be fine.
Yeah.
Who knows? It might come in handy later.
Who knows? Not me.
Okay.
Okay. It looks like a butterfly.
It's a butterfly.
Yeah. Cool. Wow.
So that's butterfly.
Awesome.
Isn't it cute? I think I'm like obsessed with these.
It's so cute.
This is my third one I've made. So this is.
Oh my God. Wow. I like that they have like a little bend in their back too. Like.
Yeah, me too.
It's so cute. And you did it so with such ease.
Thank you. I only messed up once.
Yeah.
Leave it in, producers.
Yeah, producer.
Me.
Producer me.
Us, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what I did with origami. Do you have any questions for me?
I do have a question for you. My first question is, have you learned the truth behind the old wives' tale that you can't fold a piece of paper in half 7 times or more?
I remember doing that when I was little, and even with like a piece of like really thin notebook paper, we couldn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say, myth not busted, meaning it's real.
Wait, yeah. So myth busted. Oh wait,
busted.
Confirmed.
Busted would mean, yeah, it's confirmed.
Confirmed. I also feel like, or I don't know if there's an origin behind this. You'll have to tell me, but I feel like origami can be very meditative. And was
my God,
like origins of that with the practice?
I didn't find any origins, but especially since like I spent the last 4 days moving, and then like the first thing I did by myself, like in the 4 days, was origami. That felt really good.
Yeah.
My mind's been racing so much that like to focus on that and then to have something tactile that I do with it. So like I could watch a movie to like decompress, but then I always catch myself like still going on my phone anyway.
Right.
So like watching these origami videos, which are very relaxing, you can like listen to the music that is playing with them, or like put your own music on, or like as if I needed another thing to do while listening to a podcast, I put on some podcasts. And I just like sat down and like, you can do it for like an hour, or you could do it for 15 minutes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, that's really nice because like, it is just a piece of paper and the risk is so low.
Yeah.
And like the reward's medium high, because all of a sudden I feel like when you're making it, you're like folding, you're like, I don't know where this is going and how this is going to be, what it's going to be. And then it all comes together and it's like really rewarding.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's with making anything, like even making macaroni and cheese, some of the satisfaction is that it started from nothing and now there's something.
Yes, exactly. Or like biscuits. I like made biscuits the other day, and it was like, it's like 4 ingredients and it's mostly butter and flour. And you're like, fuck yeah. Like I made these shits and they're delicious.
I made this butterfly.
And like, this dinosaur is so stupid and silly, but I fucking love this thing.
It's so
you know what
cute.
I mean?
I love it.
The only thing I don't like is this donk of this guy. Like I can't even hold it. Like if I don't hold it, it's just like not the way it's supposed to be. But the good thing is there's like trillions and billions and gazillions of these like origami videos on YouTube, so you can really find anything to make. And I like scrolled for so long, and that's some of these, like I thought I was gonna make like 1 or 2 of them. I'm not gonna lie. Because I was like, well, I only have a couple days, and like if I make one, I did it, and I can say that I did it. But then I caught myself like seeing the next one coming up, and I was like, well, I have to make that. And like I said, the risk is so low because then you just have a piece of paper that's folded up.
Right.
And then the reward is that you have this like little thing.
And it's so cute and fun, and you can give it to your friends.
Exactly.
I wonder about like how do you even create one of these designs? Like, who was the first person to make that T-Rex? And like, how did they even did they have to like backwards engineer it?
I think so. Oh, speaking of engineering, another fun fact I found is that like some of the practical uses of origami are used in like packaging and engineering.
Oh.
Yeah, like
That's
the
cool.
principles of that have been like, so it's funny that you said that. I don't know, and I thought about that in the same sense as like a Rubik's Cube. I'm like, how did people know how to solve a Rubik's Cube? Like, I know how to solve a Rubik's Cube only because I memorized
The pattern.
like the steps to
Right.
solve a Rubik's Cube. But like people know the algorithms and can see a Rubik's Cube and see like, this is the step I need to take to fix this part.
Wow.
And I know why.
Yeah.
And
I feel like some people's brains just work like that. Like
yeah.
they have Terminator vision almost that like tells them exactly what they have to do.
Yeah, like math girl meme, like a beautiful mind like happens.
Yeah.
And I just think that like people who do enough origami are so familiar with like the folds and can at least like get you part way there. Like the shark. There's probably a lot of fish that have like the similar beginning of it. So if they want like a certain like way for it to be, I'm sure they know exactly what they need to do ahead of time for it to like be like that.
Yeah. Or they'll be like, I mean, I'm sure it takes a million iterations too, which I couldn't stomach probably. I would just get pissed off.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like a 400-year-old art form. So I can imagine a lot of like trial and error has happened. And like, honestly, they probably were like, everyone just like tried a bunch of like stuff and they're like, nope, that's not it.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing with Legos. Like, how do people like put together these like Lego sets and like all these instructions?
Eiffel Tower, yeah.
Right. Because if I'm making a Lego set, I'm like, I don't even like the first steps are like, I don't even know where this is, how we even got like, we're going to get to the end with like this set of bricks.
Yes. Good point. Yeah. It's nuts that I'm glad there's people out there that can do that, but my brain does not work that way.
I'm glad because then I get to make this butterfly.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I feel like also this is something that scales up pretty quick. So you could try more difficult ones.
That's exactly. So I looked at all the ones that were like considered easy. And I think the hammerhead shark, I don't think I like thought about the ease of it. You know what I mean? The other thing that I thought of that was really funny was that like, have you ever watched Project Runway?
Yes.
You know, the unconventional challenge episode? Yes. So I've seen this butterfly before, and I'm pretty sure it's on an unconventional challenge where they probably made these butterflies like to make texture with paper. And I'm sure they won because like the judges like love that kind of stuff.
Paper dress.
Yeah.
I watched one where someone made a dress out of AstroTurf.
Really?
Yes.
That actually would be cool. It'd be a cool like structured dress.
It'd be cool if you were like on MDMA or something and met that person. You could just
I know for sure. And like the one thing that I'll say about that is like I remember being like, that's so impressive. Like I would never be able to do that. And then now that I did it, I was like, I could be a fashion designer. No
problem.
This is easy.
I feel like that's just your personality. You're like, I couldn't do that. And then you could do the very base level. I can rule the world.
Well, like I said, I got real cocky after I only messed up one time out of like the 3 that I made. So I decided I was going to make a hammerhead shark and then failed completely.
Yes.
And I think it's very brave of me that I even kept it. I'm not going to lie. I could have lied and said that I did everything perfectly the first time.
Yes, true. Very brave of you. We're both being very brave today with our things.
Thank you very much for sharing your truth.
Last thing I have to say is I feel like I wasn't really thinking about this when I gave you the challenge. I just saw someone making origami and I said out loud, I wish I could do that. And then thought, I'll make Jordan do it instead, which is like the whole premise of the show. But I feel like origami really fits your personality. Like it fits into my image of what Jordan is and like the kinds of things you do and are interested in.
I'm not going to lie. I think you're very spot on about that. And I think that it was not something I realized. And now I'm sitting with like dinosaurs and butterflies and like sharks all over my desk. And like, I'm realizing how deep I got. Like, I don't think I've done a make me this deep. Like I've done deeper research in like the background of make me's, but this is the first one that I'm like, I've invested like multiple trials to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It seems like also like it's something you would do again just if you had some like you just wanted to like listen to podcasts but wanted to do something with your hands or like
this is my new hobby. I now have construction paper down like within reach so that at any given moment I could make origami. Because like I said, these videos are like 11 minutes long. It might take me 20 minutes to get through with like all the pauses and stuff like that. It's very fulfilling, and it's a good break for my brain because I do have a problem with my brain turning off.
Yeah.
Like turning my brain off.
Right. Or if you're like stressed and you just need like a quick break, but you need to engage like a different part of your brain. You know, they're like, don't take a full break at work and look at your phone. You should like go for a walk or do a crossword puzzle or whatever. You can just like do an origami and then get back to work.
There have been times this weekend that like I definitely needed a nap and I felt like I needed a nap, but like there was no possible way that you were going to get me to lay down.
Yeah.
After like unpacking and organizing all this kind of stuff, like I can't just like, no matter how tired I am, I can't just like lay down and go to sleep.
Yeah.
And it was if anything, I'll lay down and watch my phone for 2 hours, then never fall asleep.
Yeah.
But so I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit down and do some origami. And I made like one thing and I was like, I'm tired. And I like lay down and like slept for 2 hours. So
it like calms your brain.
Yeah. And I also fucking love these. They're so cute. I'm obsessed with these like butterflies. Like I think that they're so cute and they're so
really
easy.
Cute. I should get you in connection with my mom and you guys can share patterns you like.
Oh man, I would love that.
All right. So what is your rating out of 10 Southside Serpents?
I'm giving it 10 Southside Serpents. This was a banger. This one, I knocked it out of the park. You knocked it out of the park. Overall, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think you really crushed it.
Thanks so much.
And I would say that I really crushed it.
You did really crush it. I was happy that like you watched the whole season so we could have like a full conversation about like the dynamic of these characters.
I was trying to say I crushed it by giving you origami as a make me, but I also take compliments for my ability to watch a whole TV show in 3 days.
Very impressive.
Are you ready to give each other make me's?
I think I'm ready. So Julia, for next week, I want you to make me a comic strip.
Ooh, okay. Fun. And in a similar vein for next week, Jordan, I want you to make me some Mad Libs.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Oh my God, I'm going to have so much fun with this. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
We're going to have a big creative episode.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, before we...
Yeah, I was going to say, do you make me for the audience?
Oh yeah. So before we go, I do have a make me for the listeners. Ooh. I want everyone to call their most local IKEA that you can find and just tell them to do better. And I mean that in a way that means that I tried to buy a rug from my IKEA and I couldn't do that. And then the other thing about IKEA is that
I went to buy a rug and I couldn't.
Well, they didn't have it in stock at mine.
Right.
And then here's the other thing is, even if I wanted to order it online and then pick it up because I don't want like to spend the $10 for it to ship to my own house, I can't because there's too many people ordering things at IKEA to go pick it up. So even if it was in stock, I would have to go into the store to get it.
So I agree with you. IKEA, do better. IKEA, if you're listening, do better. And each of us can harass our IKEAs near us to tell them, we the people need you to do better. For us, you have built by the people for the people.
But with that being said, I'm going to buy the rug anyway. I'm going to order it online. It's going to come to my house, and I'll put a picture on Instagram when it comes.
So don't send Jordan any money for it because
send me money for my electricity bill.
Yeah,
that's canon.
If you haven't done that already. He needs money for electricity.
All right, everybody. Till next week. I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, guys. It's Jordan and Julia. Thanks for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed it.
For content related to this episode, follow us at MakeMePod on Instagram. And you can hear episodes each week on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you find us anywhere else, please let us know.
You can also send us your questions, comments, make me suggestions, pictures of your dog, or requests for unlicensed medical advice to makemepod@gmail.com.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, rate, etc., etc. That's how we get discovered.
Please, we need to be clicked.
But for real, leave a comment so we know you love us.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
The worst is if they like compliment the shirt the first day. So if you wear it again, it's like awkward.
Oh, you complimented the first day, so I had to wear it again.
Right, exactly. All right, everybody. Until next week, enjoy. I'm going to do that again because I hated whatever just happened. Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm going to do that again because I hated it.
Okay. Serious.